Hi, I'm 15 years old. Right now, I am talking to you with a wired, non-Wi-Fi connection. My parents set this up for me. They can afford to do this. It has been brought to my attention that Wi-Fi antennas emit pulses of radiation. This radiation is absorbed into children's bodies when they sit in front of a computer that is connected to Wi-Fi. Those are simple facts. All I'm saying is that every child should have the right to safe technology. Every child should be able to have an Ethernet cord to connect to internet. That makes this an environmental justice issue. Some people can afford healthy things and cancer prevention, and others cannot. There are hundreds of scientists stating Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and wireless devices are unhealthy, and they say that science proves harm. Other countries are doing something about this. We are always behind, so let's not have that happen again. And so-called safety laws we have in place are not even based on research on long-term exposure. Me and my friends are going to be exposed for years, a lifetime. There was no safety testing on children when laws were made on wireless radio frequency radiation. Replicated research on teenagers and rats has found damaged memory from this radiation.
Radiation from your mobile phone may affect your memory, new research suggests. The study found that when teens frequently held their smartphones to their ears, increasing their brain's exposure to radio frequency electromagnetic radiation, it had a significantly adverse effect on their visual memory, especially when the cell phone signal was weak.
Researchers from the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute monitored cell phone usage and the brain health of close to 700 teens for a year.
So let's take a look at some of the research outcomes of a project study where we used a rat model to assess the effect of wireless network radio waves on living systems.
After the experiment, which lasted for 8 weeks, exposed rats showed brain DNA damage, acetylcholinesterase gene impairment, altered hematological, biochemical, and histopathological parameters. All this were induced just after 8 weeks exposure.
I don't want my DNA to be damaged. I don't want cancer. I don't want memory problems. I don't want my friends to have these problems. I don't think you want your kids to grow up and suffer from these problems. Isn't it better to play it safe? Isn't that what all parents do? We are not your guinea pigs. When you are old and all of our generation is getting cancer, you will regret not doing what you can to stop this. Tell the companies we want devices to be wired without radiation. That would solve this problem. You must do this for my generation, not for yours.
I'm here to talk about how when a device is connected to Wi-Fi, it emits microwave radiation, which is then absorbed into our bodies. Everyone should have safe technology, but not everyone can afford this cancer prevention. Hundreds of studies show adverse health effects linked to wireless radiation, including cancer, DNA damage, and memory problems, of which I don't want anyone to suffer through. If you don't do something now, the people of my generation will suffer. So you should ask that the telecommunications companies that are currently donating Wi-Fi's to those that don't have internet access to instead donate Ethernet wires so everyone can have safe internet access. So you might have Ethernet running through your walls, which you just plug into, or you might have cable running to your home, which goes to a cable box, and then you just run a cable from there to your modem, which converts the cable into Ethernet. And then the Ethernet, that one wire coming from the modem, will then go into here. This is a gigabit switch, and you plug in one wire, and then you can run multiple devices off of that one port. So with a cell phone or a laptop, you can push on airplane mode and it'll turn off all of the routers. But with a Chromebook, you need to turn off each router individually. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to wire a Chromebook. So you see this little USB port. You're going to plug a USB to Ethernet adapter into this port, like so. And then you'll take your Ethernet wire and you'll plug it in to your adapter like so, and then I will show you how to turn off all the routers on your Chromebook. So you'll go to the bottom left corner where there's a little clock, and then you'll go to the little gear in the top right corner that says settings, and you'll make sure that the slider next to Wi-Fi is off, the slider next to Bluetooth is off, then you'll scroll all the way down to where it says advanced, and then you'll make sure that the slider next to keep Wi-Fi on during sleep is off. Thank you.
Thank you also for all you are doing to keep students and staff safe, and for all you are doing to ensure that all students have computers and internet access. Many families that did not have internet access before the start of virtual learning have received MiFis. Other families already had internet access, many of them using Wi-Fi. It has come to my attention that the wireless microwave radio frequency radiation used in Wi-Fi and with MiFis is linked in published peer-reviewed studies to a multitude of health impacts, including headaches, nausea, difficulty focusing and sleeping, DNA damage, changes to reproduction, and cancer. Hundreds of scientists are calling for a reduction of wireless radiation in people rather than an increase in exposure. While this may be news to many people, it is not news to insurance companies, who are not willing to take the risk of covering non-ionizing electromagnetic fields because of the well-documented adverse health effects. Other countries, including France, French Polynesia, and Cyprus, have taken steps to ban Wi-Fi in kindergarten classrooms and to restrict its use in elementary schools. Furthermore, EU Resolution 1815 recommends wired, not Wi-Fi, internet access in schools. Closer to home, the New Jersey Education Association and the Children's Environmental Health and Protection Advisory Council of the Maryland Department of the Environment have recommended turning off Wi-Fi, using wires and cable to connect to the internet, and keeping devices away from the body. When students use Chromebooks and other devices at home that are connected to the internet with MiFis or Wi-Fi, their bodies absorb wireless radiation. We now have MCPS children as young as 5 using Chromebooks connected via wireless for 5 hours a day or more. I'm thankful that I'm aware of this issue and have been able to use wired internet to reliably connect multiple computers in my home. Most people, however, do not know about the risks and are unknowingly exposing themselves and their children to adverse health effects that may take years to fully manifest. Many families couldn't afford to choose wired internet even if they knew about the risks. I'm here today to ask the Board of Education to please approach the companies that are donating MiFis to our families and ask them to instead donate safe, non-radiating wired hardware, including Ethernet wires, adapters, and modems, and service, to ensure that our children are able to connect to the internet and access virtual learning without long-term harm to their health. I am also asking the board to please move forward toward wired internet when students return to the building. Thank you.